What is going on, everyone? Hope everyone's doing well. I have had way too much, cake, but just sugar in general. My goodness, I can't seem to stop. I'm all cracked out over here. And I know that's a terrible, terminology to use, but when you've eaten as much cake and sugar as I have in the last couple of days, my goodness. Now, of course, I have an excuse, but I mean, realistically, look at me. I've I'll make an excuse, okay? But luckily, I also have a real excuse. It was my girlfriend's birthday the other day. Ooh, yay. And of course, I made the mistake. And I looked at her and I was like, oh, would you want some cake, all right, for your birthday? And she goes, cake? You know, because that's, whoa. And I thought she was going to go, yeah, of course, I want a cake. She goes, give me all the cake. I go, excuse me? She goes, I want all the cake. Get all the cake. And I'm like, okay. So I go to the store to get all the cake. And I would have gotten a lot more cake, but I got so much cake. I bought all the cake. Well, all the cake on one side of the cake aisle. I couldn't get to the whole cake aisle because there was somebody on the phone holding a giant cake, walking back and forth, surveying the joint, looking for the right cake, making sure nobody else eyed any of the cake that she had. I mean, I'm not. Do whatever you're gonna do. But this was, she had a giant cake. She was on the phone and she was like, she had a perimeter on like a section of the cake aisle that I just could not get to. Anytime I tried to like walk around, she'd walk over on the phone with the giant cake. Right, and she didn't grab any other cakes. I was left to one. She had let me have one little section. She goes, here, you can look at that cake. And so I just bought all of it because I had a mission to accomplish, right? Like, I'm not trying to get in anybody's way. My girlfriend told me to get all the cake. When you're sent on a mission to get all the cake, let me rephrase this to everything. When your significant other tells you to do something, right? You got to do it. Or else, in my case, we all know what's going to happen here. But anyways, now that we've kind of gotten that out of the way, so if I'm a little, it's because of the cake. But anyways, welcome to another OneTake episode. We're going to talk about Boba Fett because what? And then I'll probably do what a few more times. But Boba Fett, the season finale just happened, which means we can watch the whole thing in a row. I really like to do that. As much as I have no patience, so I wanted to watch every week, and it's killer waiting a whole week. There are things that just like shoot you the whole season, right? Then you can just watch, all of it all at once and get the whole story and really dive into it. But I will say this is one of those shows that can, give you the whole week to week thing because you're at the edge of your seat waiting for the next one. I'm telling you right now. Well, I mean, unless you're me, I don't know. I'm about to reverse all of that because I missed 1 week and then I just like lost track of time. And then that was it. I don't know what it is when it's week to week. If you miss one episode, you have to wait until the end, until all the episodes are out. Because the moment you miss one episode, you're bound to miss 2, 3, 4. And what happens is the earlier on that you miss it, the more likely that you don't start missing them in a row, you'll start missing them off pattern, right? Like you'll get all excited for the next week, but then forgot you watched the week before, you didn't watch the week before, so you'll watch that one, skipping this week, and then you'll catch up, and then you'll miss the next two, and then it's a whole beanbag effect, barrel roll. And then, you wind up confused. Luckily, there's only 7 episodes here, and so I only missed a few. But my goodness, I thought we'd take it all the way to the back and really dive into it a little bit. So we're going to really step up to episodes 1 and 2 in this little wackadoo-ness that we got going on here. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking about episodes 1 and 2 because, my goodness. First, overall thoughts. 1, Boba Fett. My goodness, I didn't even know I liked bounty hunters all that much or in that like universe of Star Wars. But I'm telling you right now, the storytelling of Mandalorian, I know I switched it a little bit, that curb-tailed into now Boba Fett, I've been hooked, line, sinker since that, okay? And I'm in it. Bounty hunters go. You get that guy. If he deserves it, right? Isn't that how that works? I'm not sure. But get him. And with that, all that armor and stuff, on all the lore that we're really diving into. Okay, we got to get back to the Boba Fett because episodes 1 and 2. So there's that. The storytelling, good. Then the soundtrack, or I guess, isn't it in this industry, it's called the score? I don't know. Look at me trying to be all, we're learning, I'm learning nothing. And then, so the music is just, I don't know why, but it is hooked. Every time the little drums come on, you're just like, yep. I'll take it. I'll just keep watching this. Just keep giving me that tune, and for some reason I'm like hooked, line, hypnotized. There you go. And then the other thing too is the backdrop. I mean, we got Tatooine. I'm pretty sure. I know we get really serious about this stuff. We're just talking, me and you. I could get it wrong, but we're on Mos Espa, Mos Eisley, Jabba's hut, all that mumbo jumbo, and it is just so detailed. I mean, the only thing that I'm really liking about it, really too, is because I just went to Star Wars Land in California, and whoa, that thing is detailed, and it is just so much fun being in like kind of a similar-esque atmosphere. And you just feel right at home with the Jabba's hut and, Tatooine and that whole kind of space. So they're doing a really good job. Some favorite moments too. Can we get into that? Because, I mean, you guys have either seen it by now or, I'm not doing a recap or review. We're just having some fun here. So some good moments, some of the favorite moments. 1, the whole beginning scene when he like climbs out of the Sarlacc pit and he's like still alive, and you're like, what? Of course, because of his armor, like kept him, because it's we now know how strong like Beskar like armor is, but just for him to stay alive and have that we'll talk about it more, but that is some cool stuff. And then the whole thing with like the Tusken Raiders, I mean, really the Tusken like warrior, like the main one who kind of like gets to train him as he earns the respect of like the tribe. And then the whole train sequence from the training to even Tuskens jumping, speeders, just hopping speeders back and forth. I don't know why. They could have done that for like 20 minutes. And I was just like, I hope he makes it. Oh, he didn't make it. Make it this time. Oh, he made it. I don't know why that was. They did a really good job like making that happen, because that to me was like super exciting. Almost as exciting as the train scene, which, I mean, we really get to see that Tusken warrior just go to work. I can't get out of my head when he just pops his head out of the train, looks and goes, oh, there's more bad guys, goes back down and just hooks him and just pulls him. It's like, are we good now? And you're just like, this guy is out of his mind, just crazy, just whacking fools all over the place. And then the whole explosion, it was all good times had by all. And woo! So, I mean, there you go. Good times had by all. Episodes 1 and 2. I'm super excited about it. Now I kind of want to get into some abstract ideas or abstract thoughts. Not really sure how to put that, but we're going to go off the beaten path a little bit, because I really wanted to, some of the elements like popped out that I just want to keep thinking about. And the first one is his will to survive. I mean, that is one thing that you just see, like no matter what he goes through, what trial is before him, he just keeps pushing forward. And, when it 9 times out of 10, I look at most of those things. I was like, all right, well, I would have just given up right there. I mean, you climb out of the pit, you pass out, all your stuff gets stolen, those little suckers. And then you get basically kidnapped, beaten, and you try to escape, but you just keep getting whacked. I mean, it's just ridiculous the amount of struggle that he went through, and he has this, I I can't tell if he's running from something, because there's something that's really pulling him towards just staying alive, and I almost wonder because we get this brief scene in the beginning of episode 1 where he's holding his clone, his dad's head, after Mace Windu with the lightsaber. I know it's gruesome, but we gotta get through it. And he's holding his head and he's looking at him, and maybe that fear of failure that he witnessed, he doesn't want to go through that same thing, and that right there is something that he's just constantly running from, and it's constantly chasing him, but it's one thing that keeps pushing him forward, and so. But the other kind of interesting factor in that is, and maybe we're going to start to see almost a change or a transition, where he utilizes, that thing that he was running from into something that he becomes kind of a part of or accepts, and now moves forward. And he still has that drive, but it's not out of fear, or it's not from running from something. It's from now coming into his own, because we're really starting to see that Boba Fett is transitioning from somebody who just takes orders to somebody who gives the orders and is taking his destiny or his life into his own hands for the first time. After all that struggle of getting out of the Sarlacc pit and kind of what he went through in the desert, he's kind of changed a lot. And I think part of the reason why this kind of ties in, or I'm having this thought, is kind of tags into the next thing, which is it's really interesting how we first see him in the Bacta tank getting healed, and while his body is recovering, he starts having dreams, that of course allows us to kind of see what he's been through since falling into the pit. But I almost start to wonder if it's the mind starting to heal as much as the body. Because it's often talked about how those two are often correlated, and maybe while his body is healing, it's giving his brain or his mental a chance to kind of relive or go through some of these struggles and hardships that he's been through, to remind him of where he came from and how he got there, and now what he must do to go forward, and how he needs to kind of transition, and kind of change, and when he kind of is fully healed, maybe we're going to start to see a completely defined, new version of Boba Fett, and what the leader that we're going to kind of see, that's kind of taken over, Jabba's palace and everything, kind of the present state of Boba Fett as we're watching him. And I think it was really interesting, watching him in the Bacta tank as his body is healing, and his going through the dreams. And every time he comes out and he's able to move around and do stuff, he eventually needs to go back to the Bacta tank to heal. And as he continues to heal, the struggles get worse and worse, and we start to see more of the hardships and more of what he went through and overcame, and this is kind of fortifying his body and his drive and his decisions and what's going on in the present. So I'm just super excited. I can't wait. I mean, to go over 3 and 4. These episodes are a lot of fun. This show's a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what they do and kind of how they envelop more of the world of Star Wars, and this whole separate branch, although it's in the same universe, has really kind of brought me back into it, and I'm super excited to see where it goes. So thank you guys so much for hanging out once again with this one take, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one. Until next time.